Our next session doesn't need introduction, Room 101. It's quite popular last year. And we've got Chris to chair it this time.
Hello, you Sizer. Here we go. Let's once again visit Room 101. Oh, no, it's not making any noise. Oh, I've not plugged it in. I always think it's good to call out when it's your fault and not the AV team. Here we go. Right, we're wired for sound. Let's go. Yay! So welcome to USISA 101, now becoming an annual event. This is probably going to be the last one. The reason I know is because I've updated my PowerPoint deck so it works really seamlessly. So all that effort, this will probably be the last time. Hopefully you're familiar with the rules of Room 101. We're going to have 3 rounds. We're going to meet our 3 contestants in a moment. And it's an opportunity to do what all IT people love to do, which is to moan about things. And for each round, you as an audience are going to get to vote. But your votes are only a guide. If I disagree, I will maintain the final casting votes. But each round we will consign something to Room 101. Does that sound good? Yeah. Woohoo! It's certainly more exciting than storage. No, I shouldn't say that. That was perhaps wrong. So let's, first of all, without further ado, meet and give a very warm USISA welcome to each of our contestants. So maybe we'll give them a round of applause as I introduce them. And contestants, maybe you could just say what you do, what your job role is, and also if there was only one biscuit left in the entire world, what biscuit you would want it to be. Okay, so first of all, we would like to introduce you to the wonderful Rachel.
Where did you get that photograph from?
That's from the staff directory.
Excellent. So I'm Rachel, I'm from Lancaster University, Head of IT Support, which means I look after the service desk, the training team, comms and marketing, service management, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I handed the service desk over to Rachel in order to work on exciting things like Alexa. And she still likes me, don't you, Rachel?
Sometimes.
And what's your biscuit?
Chocolate-rich tea.
Does that exist?
Split the crowd. Okay, if you can pass the mic down the table, and this is going to go out of order, so one more, please. And meet our second contestant, the wonderful Eleanor.
Hello. Hi. Ooh, that's a long applause. That was a longer applause than I was expecting. So I'm Eleanor. I am the service desk manager in charge of operations at the University of Reading. And it's quite a niche biscuit. But I would say that my biscuit would be, you know, those sort of Viennese platty ones with the chocolate underneath? You know, Foxes in the posh packets. One of them.
Okay. Brilliant. And finally, a big USISA welcome to Alistair.
Thanks, guys. So I'm Alistair Pearson, Head of Second Line IT Services at the University of Huddersfield. Biscuits. I think it would have to be a chocolate hobnob because they're good for dunking. I'm a tea man, so chocolate hobnob.
Alistair, a ratings winner there. I think definitely in the room you have it on the biscuits, but the biscuits don't count. It's your Room 101 choices. So you as an audience are going to have a chance to vote by using some interactive technology, so you can get that ready now, although it will appear again when it's voting time. But if you want to direct your devices to menti.com and enter that code, I'll even give you maybe a few seconds to do it now, and then it will disappear and it will reappear at the end of the round. And hopefully that will give us an indication of what you think should go into Room 101. Taking pictures of it, now that's smart thinking, isn't it? I really like that. Okay, that's enough of that. So first of all, we're going to move into our first round. I've tried to theme these rounds based on the contestants' choices, but some of them are a little bit loose. But we start each round with a video clip, which maybe just gives us an indication as to what it's about. So here's our first clip.
Does that mean
Yay! Come on. There you go. So we're calling our first round Troublesome Technology. And these are all kind of loosely technology themed. So for our first item, I think we're going to go over to Rachel. Now, I've come up with a picture. Can you explain what this represents?
I think so. It's kind of technology for technology's sake. So I'm not an anti-technologist. I've worked in IT for a very long time. I am a people person. I like technology that does stuff that works for people. I've noticed there's some great stuff out there. It's a bit difficult sometimes. Sometimes you have to chuck stuff out there and try it to see what benefit it can give people, so I understand that. But it seems to have gone a bit crazy at the moment. So just to give you an example, at our place we have loads of collaboration tools. So I work with some teams on Teams, with some teams on Skype. With some people, we work with Slack. Sometimes we have Jabber even is still around, and there's a whole load of technology. So when I get in the morning and I turn my laptop on, it takes about 5 minutes to load everything up and get everything started, so I might as well go make a cup of tea. That, for me, doesn't really work. Then I come back and I find the document that I really want to work on. Takes me ages because I don't have a search tool that will search through all those technologies to find the document I want, so I have to remember whether it was on Box or where it was. Find the document, edit it, then send it off to people, and somebody works back and says, oh, I updated that yesterday, it's on Teams. It's really annoying. So I'd like sometimes people to think about what technologies we're going to use for what purpose.
I've got an example. Ooh, a small ripple of applause. Wow. I've got an example of some things that I found which, you know, you could say are useless, or you could say are amazingly fun. So we've got a remote control cushion, a pair of shoes that is also a vacuum cleaner, a Bluetooth toaster, and a Bluetooth smart hairbrush, which I think tracks how long you spend brushing your hair and the resistance that it meets.
That could be useful.
Do you not think, though, that these, in your examples, these are just an example of choice? People want choice. People want to have fun. What's wrong with a remote control cushion?
There's nothing wrong with a remote control cushion if you want it back in your own home. But when you're in the work, you want to be as efficient as possible. And actually, sometimes technology is stopping people doing their jobs.
Thoughtful noises.
Go into room 101.
My mind is always open. Okay, Alistair, I think this one is yours. What does this represent?
I think that's you.
It's you.
It
Eleanor.
is me.
There you go,
It's me.
you.
So this represents critical incident meetings or major incident meetings, or a meeting that happens when something goes wrong. So I just wondered if perhaps everyone would possibly put their hand up if they've had a critical or major incident in the last month, last week,
This is awful.
last day. Yay, we're all together. So this isn't specific to one university, it's across the field, but the busiest time when everyone wants to be at their desks, fixing things, monitoring things, commsing about things. Tradition dictates that we take all of the sort of the most vital people, although everyone's vital, and put them in a room, usually quite far away from things like the service desk and infrastructure, and we get them to spend half an hour discussing where a full stop goes. Or that might just be once. But it felt like every time. So yeah, critical incident meetings, Chris.
Excellent. Any support for putting critical incident meetings in?
Oh,
No. I'm just shocked how many critical
Antonia,
incidents you have.
thanks.
Like everyone's had one in the last month. I think we need some sessions on reliable IT infrastructure. Brilliant. Okay, last one for this round. So this must be Al's one.
Yes, it's the term disruptive technologies. So for me, disruptive technologies is just false drama. I particularly dislike false drama, so think kind of TV cooking shows before the adverts, oh my God, their cake's going to burn, it's going to be an absolute disaster. Then you come back after the ads, oh, it was all fine. False drama, absolutely hate it. And I think disruptive technologies is exactly the same. So it's a phrase used in order to rile us up as if something awful is going to happen and we need to really react to all these disruptive, awful things that are going to kind of disrupt our being. And I can't think of something that's actually being disruptive in terms of something that's affected us to the point where we can't react to it. What we're talking about is innovation, new things coming up, and we can't call it new technologies or new ideas. We have to use the word disruptive because we want to dramatize it. So I think it's a kind of a false drama.
So your point is they can't all be disruptive. They're just new technology. It's
Yeah.
a way of marketing it, really.
Exactly that, yes. It's a way of kind of getting us all worked up about something.
So I had a think of some things that could be disruptive. So we've got kind of gene editing technology.
Okay, yeah.
That could be disruptive. Meat that isn't really meat, that's going to be the thing.
Nice.
Homegrown in a lab meat.
Yeah, yeah.
And then already mentioned today, digital twins. We should all be doing that. That technology is going to be totally disruptive. When you come into your IT organization in the world of gene editing and digital twins, you're not going to recognize it. Major disruption.
Yeah, so what these, I imagine the landscape will look completely different, but so did it when we introduced the internet. And I think people would consider the internet to be disruptive, but it wasn't. We went from to where we are today in kind of slow incremental steps. And it was okay. We weren't disrupted. We were just kind of, it was new and cool and we liked it.
Okay. Was that an attempt to do an 80s donkey modem noise?
Yeah, that was exactly it, yeah.
I always used to think if your internet connected successfully, it was 3 donkeys. That was the sound. Brilliant. Okay, well, we've heard the case for our 3 items, so we're going to attempt some audience voting. Whoa! People have been voting already while you've been going on. So vote now and see if you think technology for technology's sake, which is Rachel's, critical incident meetings or disruptive technologies. What? Have we got dissension in the ranks? What's the number? Oh, the URL. Hold on. It's because I've not logged into my account that it doesn't tell you the number. But it's menti.com, menti.com. And the number is... Oh, this has gone badly wrong. I'm going to look back on my earlier slide. 270644. I think if I log in, will this break everything? Oh, no. This is going to be a disaster. You'll just have to remember, it's gone wrong. It's disrupted me. You'll just have to take my word for it. Oh, I've truly bust everything. It's come back. So menti.com, menti.com, and the code is 270644. Write those numbers down. Or, like the chap on the front table, if you'd have photographed it, you would have known it was going to go wrong and it would all be fine. Okay, let's have a look. So, the view in the critical incident meetings...
People just enjoy them.
Well, I think when we have them at Lancaster, we do them all over WhatsApp. We have like a WhatsApp group and people get right involved and start wandering around the building. And the last critical incident we had, I went out and bought everyone pizza. So I quite enjoy critical incidents. It might just be the way, it could just be the way that you're implementing them. But I do think if everyone's getting in a room and having a sit-down meeting when there's a major incident on, that's probably not a good sign.
I forgot to mention Teams and things like that. I did think about that, but I forgot. Or Skype.
Yeah. I think the lesson is if you're doing your critical incident meetings, sitting down in a room, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, that's wrong. And I do agree with that. Rachel, I mean, I like, if I had shoes that would vacuum as I was walking along, that would just be so cool. And I'm seriously considering buying a Bluetooth toaster. So I don't know, disruptive technologies. I'm quite persuaded by the argument that it's just a way of marketing it, you know, it's the latest, it's going to be a disruptive technology, so you better get on it and buy it. So I think what I might do is put disruptive technologies into room 101. Okay, that was 3 hours wasted. Okay, it's time for our second round and a little video clip to introduce this. My favourite bit in that clip is when they pan back to the host after she's screamed. What? Okay, so we're calling round 2, That's Just My Opinion. And the first opinion is going over to Rachel. What does this represent? In your opinion.
This represents, in my opinion, unsustainable technology. So I know there's been loads of talk about making technology more sustainable. I know there's been loads of work done on different things and actually using technology to help with sustainability. We saw the thing about building management, making, saving energy and all the rest of it. But generally speaking, when you come down to these things, I picked these things. The whole business model of the companies that sell us these things is that we should chuck them away or recycle them, but have a new one every couple of years. I think at Lancaster we can get them every 2 years we have to wait, and some people are very frustrated that they have to wait 2 years for a new one. So that is the entire...
Every 2 years? This is 5 years old. Who are you talking to? Flipping heck.
So we've moved on a lot. We do have 10 years for our screens, don't we? But generally speaking, these things are really bad. And although people say, oh yeah, we sent them off for recycling, the percentage of stuff that you can actually recycle out of this is quite small. And when you look at the kind of 40 or so elements that go in here, some of which are really precious resources that are getting depleted, there's not a solution to it yet. There's not very many people, I think, working on that solution. I picked one of them, gold. So if you look at gold, 7.5%, I've been doing my homework, 7.5% of the world's gold goes into technology and is really hard to extract afterwards. Plus, if you look at gold mining, 90% of the world's gold miners are one-man bands living in really appalling situations. There's child labour. They don't have the decent technology to extract the gold, so they use toxic substances which are causing kidney damage and brain damage and all sorts of disease. It's getting into the water so that kids are getting affected. It's really depressing if you start reading about it. So I want to put these in as they currently stand and say we ought to be making our technology more sustainable.
Crikey. Keep it light.
Whoa.
No, very good. So Rachel, just to be clear, are we putting the devices in, or are we're putting the practices of companies who don't act in a sustainable fashion? Okay, very good. Excellent, thank you. Okay, the next one. This is, I think we've probably sat you in the wrong order here. That's mine, but it's another one of yours, Eleanor. Tell us what this represents.
Okay, it's a customer survey. It's hard to go up against brain damage going into room 101, I'll be honest with you. So I'm going to try. Customer survey, user survey. I saw a great tweet yesterday that said IT and drug dealers are the only people who call their customers users, and I really appreciated that.
That's got good support in the room.
An annual customer survey. It's not just universities, big businesses do it. Why are we only asking people what they think once a year, or why do people only ask people what they think once a year? People are jaded by recent experiences. They use it as a medium to bring up anything they'd like to change in the world. We've recently had someone ask for a second service desk, because that's possible. In looking at other ways of doing it, and other opportunities and who we're asking, I saw Happy Signal here, and I was listening to their SITS talk about, the net promoter score that Martina talked about last year. But there's just so many more options, and I feel like we're sort of cutting ourselves down by just asking people what they think once a year. Yeah.
We asked students what they wanted in a very open way, and the top questions were a puppy room, an Amazon locker, and a 2-foot-long Subway sandwich.
Too far.
Only one of which we were actually able to deliver in the IT organisation, which was actually the Amazon lockers, but that's another story. So I'm quite persuaded. Who has an annual customer survey for IT? I mean, that's a thing, surely. Oh, well, that is a surprisingly low number. You have one, don't you, Rachel? Yeah, and I don't enjoy filling that in, so that could be good. Brilliant, excellent. Let's move on to our third picture, and...
So this is Apple bashing. So probably worth a bit of a backstory in that in a previous life before I was a manager and gave up working for a living, I kind of was an Apple systems tech. So I always kind of did all the support for Apple systems. And for years and years and years, I constantly got told, you're one of them, are you? And you're a fanboy and all these other things. And for me, it's just an operating system choice. Like I can use an Apple, I can use a Windows in the kind of sexual preference of operating systems. I'm bi.
Wow.
So, yeah. I did wonder whether if somebody who once thinks they might install Linux might be tri-curious, but there we go.
Are you going for the quote of the conference? Right. Because that's a strong
Maybe.
contender. Yeah.
Maybe. So yeah, it's just Apple bashing. Please don't beat people up just because of their operating system choice. I think it's one of those things where, use whatever you like.
Oh.
Free love for the operating systems.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've got, let's go to our voting. Hopefully this should still be working because you were all logged in last time. I can see, oh, what's happened here? Oh! Right, hold on. Panel, talk amongst yourselves. I will fix this. Okay. Right. Don't worry. I'm gonna do some magic.
So it's entirely built on Mac operating system, look. So. Please don't insult it.
I should have rehearsed this in much better fashion. Here we are. What about now? Okay, this is all good. Let me switch back to my presentation. Dun, 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 dun. This could be it. Da, 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 da. Oh. What? Oh. Well, I can see the results. It's just you can't see them. Hold on. I'll drag it over here. Wait a minute. This is going... I should have rehearsed this before. And also, I cursed myself by saying that I'd improved my PowerPoint this year, so they would all be...
I think we're still good for next year, Chris, don't you?
Here we go. Come on! I've fixed it live. In fact, I spend most of my going to meetings time just fixing PowerPoint issues, even though I don't run the service desk or the AV team anymore. Disaster. Okay. Pretty well. I think you can bash them or press them.
Yeah. And they still work after you bash them.
Pressing them turns into rather tasty cider. Okay. Who'd have thought that would be the controversy? Okay, so it looks like in the room the consensus is technology without sustainability, and I think companies definitely do need to do more. And you've won me over with your comment about gold and stuff like that, although a bit heavy for this time of night. But, however, I do also think it is pretty bad to be telling people off, because I think we should be promoting people to use the technology that they want to use. If they want to use Apple, use Apple. If they want to use Linux, use Linux. If they want to go and talk to AWS, you go and do that. Use whatever works for you. So I'm kind of persuaded with that. Customer surveys. I mean, if we put them in room 101, how are we going to find out what everyone...
Are we putting daily customer surveys? I did think about that.
Daily. What annoys me is when every single email from the help desk system has the rate. I mean, we could put that in. Do you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to go with the audience on this one, and I'm going to put customers with poor sustainability practices into room 101. Just savor this. It took me so long to do that. Must try harder. Okay. Before we let you go for your tea, we've got round 3, and then be thinking, because we're going to have an audience choice round, and you can put your hand up, and we'll pick 3 or 4 from the audience, and then we'll put something else into room 101. So here's a video that highlights our last category. Okay, so we're calling this one General Annoyances. And here's... No, it's not what you think. No, hold on. This is not what you think. Rachel, please. It's not the new Usizer logo, which I think is very good. But what is it?
I had no idea he was going to put that up. It's acronyms that make no sense. So, and have no explanation. So we like our acronyms in IT. We've got RFID, we've got SQL, we've got CMS, we've got ISS, where we work. A whole load of acronyms. My personal favourite story was when our storage guys rolled out stuff and kept saying, oh, we've got this great new CRI and blah, 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 going out to people. And I was saying, you have to start explaining that to people because people out there won't know what CRI is. Just put what it, so the next message went out, we've got CRI, Consolidated Resilient Infrastructure. They're really going to know what that is too. And at Lancaster, we love our acronyms because we're Lancaster University, so we have the LUVLE, lovely, or we did have.
And the LU voice skill.
The LU voice skill,
But
yeah.
that's okay, because it's called LU.
Yeah.
And students like that.
Yeah, we have LUMS, LUNS, LUST.
Lust.
Swimming
What's that?
team, LUDEMS, which you name it, we've got stupid acronyms. And very rarely do they actually explain what they mean. So it's when you have an acronym that makes no sense really, and you don't know what it means.
And what does Usizer stand for? Now, try to find that on the website though. Yeah, it's not there. So I did have a look, Rachel, for other things. I mean, some of these, we all know, you know, the BBC, HP, KPMG. Anyone know what that stands for? It's not on their website, for sure. Oh, come on. And I was going to call Rachel out for having a website which said ISS and didn't explain it. But then I realised that, in fact, hold on, our logo actually spells the word out in full. So you're kind of, you know, doing your own thing. So that's it's good. Yeah. Anyone else got any unusual company names that don't make any sense at all? I don't know. If you look for them, they're all there. And they don't say on the website. You'd think on the About section, when you went to it, it would give you kind of what it stood for, but it definitely doesn't. And it must be on the Usizer website somewhere, but I definitely couldn't find it. That's good. Okay, let's do our next one. What does this represent?
It's not an advert. This is about, just so everyone knows, it's about mandatory supporting statements in higher education, which of all the many, many hills every day I'm willing to die upon is probably the peak district for me in terms of hills. It's the idea, and it's not just higher education, local government do it as well, I spent some time there, that we don't make it easy for people to apply for jobs, and so sometimes you have to apply with a CV and a cover letter and a supporting statement. Other times you have to apply with an application form and a supporting statement. We stick the supporting statement on about page 8, rather than putting it on page 1 to show that it's important. It doesn't always tell you that you have to fill it out, but you do because we can't shortlist without it. Sorry, I told you I care about this one. Sometimes, some institutions, you just can't shortlist a person if they haven't filled it out. Sometimes you're trying to scrape information to give everyone a level playing field. And I feel like we're missing potential talent because it's a sort of a secret within within HE, that, you know, this is how you apply for a job. So everyone in this room at some point has applied that way. Sorry, I'm really passionate about this.
That's good.
But,
Passion is good.
If you haven't worked in HE before, if your job before this one was a non-HE job, did you go into it knowing full well how to fill out that supporting statement, what people were looking for, and, you know, how to tick the boxes? And I just think we're missing out on potential talent, and that bothers me.
I must admit, I do spend a lot of time coaching people on how to apply and telling them the importance of filling out the supporting statements. Because you do get people that send in a really good cover letter and a really amazing CV, and then in the supporting statements they're like, yeah, I've done that before. Yeah. And it's a real shame. So I kind of get that, and you've got some good support in the room there. What's our last one?
So it's the term cloud, or the cloud. So I think it's just too broad, to be honest. Nobody, when they subscribed to Spotify, said, I'm moving my CD collection to the cloud. Kind of subscribed to Netflix and said they're moving the DVD collection. It's too all-encompassing. So it's very complicated. There's infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and I think it simplifies what is a very complicated thing and makes people think that it's just something dead easy. So it's like the university going saying, I want sport. Well, what do you mean? What kind of sport do you want? Well, I don't know, I just want sport. Could you be more specific? Well, I want sport that you play with a racket. And it's the same thing with cloud. I want cloud. Well, what do you mean?
The issue slightly I've got with this is if we put the word cloud into Room 101, then all of the conferences I go to are going to be shortened by like a day. Because it's all over all the presentations.
No, what's going to happen is they're going to get far longer because people are actually going to have to properly explain themselves rather than just using the word cloud to substitute what is actually kind of a complicated thing. So cloud can be a very fantastic software as a service provided by a really good company, or it can be a server under Dave's desk that he kicks every time he comes in the morning, and you just remote onto it and use it. So it's incredibly complicated, and we just dilute it down into something that sounds fluffy and lovely, and it makes all our lives a headache because people think it's fluffy and lovely, and it isn't. It's quite complicated.
But that's good, because if we can be making IT sound fluffy and lovely, then everyone will want it. And the people that invest in it will say, give us some money and we'll give you a fantastic cloud. And they'll be like, oh, sounds brilliant, have loads of cash, let's go. So surely that's a good thing.
Except that it's kind of sold as cheaper. So getting money is difficult.
It's not cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. Can you believe it?
What?
Yeah, exactly, the headache of it all.
Okay. Right, well, I think it's time to fail technology again. Have we successfully moved on to the next question, or are you going to tell me off? Oh, hold on. I've properly messed this up, I really have. How do I move it to the next question? Hold on. I'm coming. What? It's in the cloud, and that is the problem.
Remember that, everybody.
Oh, no. Here we go. I really should have practiced this. It's because last time I did this, I used the technology that we had at the university, and when I went back to try and use it this time, they've actually binned it, and it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. There you go. We're on the general annoyances question.
I bet they put it in the cloud.
Yeah, yes, they did. I bought it because they said it was in the cloud, and it didn't work properly. Oh. Look at that. Let's see where the room's going.
People like the cloud.
Oh. Maybe we should put voting software into Room 101, given the previous experiences every year of it going horribly wrong. As I think together we've got through it, so that's good. Okay, so it's looking like... let me see about this. See, abbreviations with no explanation are very annoying. I'm not so much annoyed by them. I'm annoyed by the fact that there is no way to work out. I looked through the KPMG website for 10 minutes and nowhere did it say it. I had to go to Wikipedia or to the person that shouted it out. So that is annoying, and it's definitely the most annoying one in the room. Supporting statements, I mean, yeah. I hear the passion, and it also annoys me, especially when people don't fill them in properly, and you get really good people, and then you have to turn them away. So I'm quite minded on that. The cloud, I mean, you're right in that it is more complicated, but I just think if we get rid of that term, people aren't going to have anything to go on about, and they'll feel devoid of hope and the wonder that this potential cloud could bring. It's a very, very tricky one. I don't know. I think, let's just, there we go. What do we think? Do we go in the room? I think, on balance, I'm going to put supporting statements into Room 101. Brilliant. Okay, we've got just 4 minutes left before tea time and time for you to go on your wonderful treasure hunt and things like that. But there is just time to give you the opportunity to put something into room 101. So if you think of something annoying that you'd like me to consign to room 101, it's time to raise your hand and suggest it. We have an offer over here. Have we used all the mics so we can't run round? Good news is, if you're the only person, it just goes in automatically.
This is brilliant. Cold calling, especially when it's for someone that hasn't worked at your company for at least 10 years.
Strong support for that one, yes, very good. Anybody else like to venture anything to go against cold calling? Here we go, in the middle.
Users or customers, whichever term you prefer to use, who send you an email asking you to fix something immediately, then are on holiday the moment you get to them.
Yeah.
Even if it's the same day.
That seems to happen in our institution just about the time the academics go on sabbatical. They've finished teaching, they've realised they want to report something that's not been working for like 9 months, but they've not had time. They report it, and then they disappear. But we could fix that with live chat, because then they'd have to be available, wouldn't they? Yeah, I like that. Anybody else?
People who need the hand-holding and support with the simplest of software, such as online voting systems.
I left myself well and truly open for that one, didn't I? But I do have the power, so I don't think that's going in. Anyone? We can probably take one more if anyone has got anything else, and then I'm going to choose. Oh, Peter can have the final.
Yeah, I'm sure this one will be really popular. Animated GIFs in tweets.
Well, we've just...
Sorry, Antonio.
Yeah, that's split the room. That's split the room. We've just launched Microsoft Teams, and that's got a nice GIF integration, and that can be very fun in meetings. I think without that, many meetings would not pass by quite as fun, so I don't know. Yeah. Oh, wow. You want to keep the GIFs, or you want to put them in? Don't put the GIFs in. Okay, so what did we have from the floor? We had GIFs and... No chance, Peter. Cold calling. What was the other one? I've forgotten. This is poor hosting. People reporting things and then going on holiday. Ooh, that is annoying. Okay, I'm gonna make a decision. Yeah, but that's... I mean... I'm just ignoring that. I think we're going to finish Room 101 by putting in people that report faults and then go on holiday, primarily academics. It's very annoying. Well, thank you so much for bearing with us. A big thank you again to our panel for being prepared to put forward their opinions. Have a lovely evening. I'm going to go home and work on my PowerPoint for yet another year, and perhaps you'll invite me back to see if I can get the voting software working next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you, the panel. And this brings today's session to the conclusion.